Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. With the Season 3 Reloaded update, we actually saw a lot of changes focused on the TTK, specifically against armored enemies here in Warzone, which has a pretty decent effect on especially long-range weapons, but even some close-range weapons as well. And so with all these changes being focused on that today, I wanted to take a look at the top 5 fastest TTK weapons at various different ranges and give you guys the best loadouts for them. So if you're trying to fry, you got the perfect setup to do so. And we are starting here first with an absolute beast, the FTAC Recon. Now, the thing is, with a lot of these weapons that have fast TTKs, it's high risk, high reward, and that's why they're a little bit more balanced. A lot of these weapons you won't even see used by that many players because they do take a little bit more skill. Like the FTAC Recon, for instance, here, it's semi-auto, so you have to be good at tracking, tracing, and you have to have a good trigger finger at the same time. Plus, its magazine capacity is super limited, so there are drawbacks here, but if you land your shots, it's insane. All my TTK stats here are taken from true game data, so they've been verified by the best of the best. The FTAC Recon has a 649 millisecond TTK at 48 meters, which is wildly impressive for that range, right? So as far as this setup goes, on all my semi-auto guns, I like the 3.4 times Schlager optic here. If there's an optic that you prefer more in any of the situations for today, always use the optic you are the most comfortable with, but go ahead and tune for that furthest eye position in faster ADS. 15 round mag is the largest option here, so you have to use this. That's not a ton of ammo, but it's what you got to work with, and it can get the job done if you really learn to master this weapon. We also got the high velocity ammo in here just to make it more consistent in the mid to long range and have that optimal hit reg, right? Better velocity and range on these tunes. Edge 47 under barrel just for some added stability, better stability and stabilization on those tunes. And then lastly, I go for the nil sound at 90 suppressor. We're going for better velocity and a better ADS speed on the tunes there. On top of the added velocity and range, this is going to give us as is. So this thing hits like a truck. It's just a lot more difficult to use than the majority of the weapons in the game, but if you can do well with it, you are going to obliterate everyone. Now, this one might come as a surprise to a lot of players, but the Lachmann 5.56 after this update is actually one of the best guns in the game. Not only is it ridiculously easy to use, it also has a very competitive TTK if you're comparing the rifles to one another. This has a 927 millisecond TTK at 57 meters, which is actually the best out of the top main meta rifles at that range, right? And over long range, it does get a bit slower, but it's still super competitive as well. So this, on the contrary of the Recon, is low risk, high reward, and you love to see that combination, right? This setup we've talked about a bit already because, I mean, this has been a main focus after the update because it's one of the best rifles in the game right now. AMOV V4, furthest eye position, faster ADS. 40 round extended mag, you could also jump up to 60 as well if you wanted to. Depending on your level of comfortability with the gun, you could either go for the Ripper underbarrel. This will make it wildly easy to use. There's like no noticeable sway or recoil when you're shooting this. It's super straightforward. I tune for the better stabilization and stability here, but if you're already very comfortable with the gun, drop this, throw in high velocity ammo, and make it even more consistent in the mid to long range. Totally your preference there. There is no wrong answer. I also got the RAPP barrel on here for that added velocity, range, and control. I go ahead and I tune for even better range and some better steadiness as well. And then lastly, echoless 80 suppressor, simply better velocity, better range, very minimal cons here, better velocity and ADS speed on the tunes for that one. One of, if not my single favorite gun after this update right now. This thing is just a ton of fun to use and it pays off rather quickly. Now, a weapon that's been on the majority of the top TTK lists so far this year and really hasn't changed much is the RAPP H LMG. This thing again is a bit trickier to use. For one, it is ridiculously slow. The reload is awful. The mobility is awful. The recoil is kind of iffy, so this build is largely meant to counteract recoil, but when you land your shots, it melts. We're looking at an 834 millisecond TTK at 59 meters here. So, you know, for the mid to long range, this thing will decimate. It's actually right up there with the RAL in terms of TTK as well. So here again, AMOV V4, furthest eye position, faster ADS as always. I got the TCG 10 rear grip straight up for better recoil control. We're tuning for better stability and better steadiness on that. I do go for the 100 round extended mag here just so I have to reload less frequently. The fire rate on this thing is very fast. So if you don't have an extended mag, you're gonna reload more often, and both of these reloads suck. You might as well take the one that you're gonna have to do less of, right? I also got Edge 47 here. If you wanted to go for lock group precision or upgrade to Ripper, you could do either of those or the Edge 47 here. There's no wrong answer yet again. Just tune for that better stability and stabilization. Then lastly, I go for the Sack and Tread 40, just straight up control here, attacking some vertical and some horizontal, and we tune for better gun kick control and better recoil stabilization as well. So this will help make the weapon feel a lot easier to use. It's still got a skill gap there for sure, but if you can get over that hump and you can master this weapon, it'll pay off really quick, because this thing is a melt machine. Now, as we get into our last couple of guns here, quick reminder, if you guys are new here, on a daily basis, I'm your one-stop shop for all things going on in COD, whether it's news, updates, meta breakdowns, you name it, it's all going to be right here. So if you want to guarantee you're always up to date, feel free to hit that subscribe button and join us ultimately on the road to 1 million subs. And if you guys enjoy this video, if you find it helpful at all, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Would be seriously appreciated, as it does really help the channel grow. Now, to no surprise, the Cronen Squall absolutely finds its way onto a top 5 TTK list. This thing is arguably the most dominant weapon in the game right now. It's kind of insane, and I'm very surprised it has not been nerfed yet. We're looking at an 858 millisecond TTK at 66 meters and beyond, which is absurd for what this weapon is. Especially with this build here, you can really limit the recoil, and so long as you can land your shots with the recoil that remains, you're good, you're set. Very few things are going to beat this in a one-on-one gunfight. Again, we've got the AMOV V4 optic. 50 round extended mag here is plenty for all squad sizes, duos, trios, quads, doesn't really matter. High velocity ammo, we want that consistency and that hit reg ease of use, if you will, for the mid to long range, better velocity and range on the tunes there. The HR 6.8 barrel is better range, velocity, and control all in one. We go ahead and tune for the even better range and even better recoil steadiness. Then lastly, Sack and Tread 40 as well once more for that better control all around. There's a lot of recoil here. This setup does limit it some. It's still noticeable nonetheless, and that's like the sort of skill gap with this gun. Master the recoil and you're set, you are going to dominate. And then lastly, we've got a bit of a surprise pick. The BAS-P, which I know what you're saying right now, there's no way the BAS-P has a top TTK. Especially when you look at, the rest of the guns on this list here, those were all focused for long range. This is more so for some close, mainly medium range, right? Through the first 10 meters or so, the BAS-P is not faster killing than other SMGs. Just straight up, the Lachmann sub, the Vaz, Nev, so on and so forth, those are better options. But the thing about the BAS-P is its damage ranges. They are significantly better than every other single SMG in the game, and that's where the BAS-P shines with its fastest TTK. It's got a 655 millisecond TTK at about 18 meters, which is prime SMG territory still. That's about 100 milliseconds faster than all the other meta SMGs. I think it's just under 100 for one of them and then over 100 for the rest of them. So this thing stands out in the mid-range a lot, and that's why I wanted to focus on this in this video, because I don't think many people realize that this thing for like sniper support and whatnot is extremely good. So here I got the Cronen Mini Pro. This is your basic blue dot, furthest dot position, faster ADS yet again. 50 round extended mag here, once more, great for all squad sizes. I go for overpressured ammo. This is going to induce more flinch. Your targets are going to have a harder time hitting you when you're landing shots on them first, so it's nice to always have that on there. I tune for some better velocity and better range here, because why not? I also got the Bruin Flash rear grip, better ADS and sprint to fire, just to make this even more aggressive, tunes to match that. And then lastly, the 7 milliwatt laser also added for better ADS and sprint to fire, and we got tunes to enhance that even more. So this is a fast, this is a snappy, this is an easy to use weapon that is surprisingly good and honestly really slept on. And that being said, that's gonna wrap things up for this one. Those are 5 of the best TTK weapons here in Warzone 2 right now. That's gonna wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you can always stay up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.